On in with this one, get straight into the matchup. These are the decks that these guys are going to be bringing. Druid, Warlock, and Shaman up against Rogue, Warlock, and Shaman as well. So we'll see what they opt to go for first in this matchup here.
I'm really interested to see what Warlock Osha brings, actually.
Both Warlocks, to be honest. I imagine they might be Zoo, but...
I mean,
I've seen kind of late game...
We saw the Reno lock from Mysterious last week.
I've seen Reno. I've seen Reno Cthulhu.
Sorry.
Oh, it is the Cthulhu Druid. I was wrong, friends.
Well, we know that Cthulhu Druid can ramp up really well. He's already got one of those innovates. He's got the Twilight Elder, which is a solid 3-4 body. But he is playing against Face Shaman.
Well, it could be mid-range still.
Could be mid-range Shaman.
Yeah.
Just, well, it seems like everything is Face Shaman now because of that 7-7. It looks more mid-range.
Mid-range, yeah. I felt like the two Flame Tongues, while do sometimes still get seen in Face Shaman, more a mid-range Shaman-y thing.
Yep.
And Flame Juggler has been a very popular 2-drop all round, to be honest, just because of some of the
Well, since we lost Knife Juggler, it's a solid 2-3 body, and it's got that extra 1 damage, which can make or break a game. And he's probably just going to innovate out the Twilight Elder.
I think that's a good play.
Yep, I mean, get the 3-4 on board.
So in this matchup specifically then, the kind of mid-range Shaman up against this ramping Druid, who would you guys say has the edge here? Who would you say is going to be able to take the advantage?
Honestly, I think Cthulhu Druid is favoured. But it really depends on how well each curve out. This is a really good drop into the Twilight Elder. He could just coin out another Twilight Elder here and go face.
Oh wow, that's a great top deck. It depends whether he wants to just Hero Power and take down. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hero Power.
Take down the totem, because still at this point he's not going to know whether this is a Face Shaman or a mid-range Shaman.
It's very true, actually.
So he's going to be wanting to clear the board as much as possible.
You could save coin for turn 4 or to get a Druid of the Claw out and then Druid of the Claw following turn as well.
Yep.
And there's his turn 4 answer.
Cool, you hope.
So here's the 50-50.
50-50. Doesn't pay off.
He's never going to be too upset by the fact that he's got a Flame Wreath in his hand for the next turn, but would you consider innovating a Druid of the Claw here, since you have a second Druid of the Claw as well in case that one does end up going down, but it also, there's not much of an answer for this early on in the game.
I mean, both innovates. It's just crazy. That's what made Druid so strong, and I think that's why everyone was upset when Innovate wasn't nerfed. I mean, it was the right nerf, because it means it still gives Druids something special about the class. But it's definitely, it's ramping up so well right now. If he was able to get Cthulhu turn 10, then...
This is going to be really nice for Osha, because you can swipe, trade your 3-1 in here.
Yep.
And you've just annihilated the mana.
And what does he play next? Like a Mana Tide totem, maybe Feral Spirit?
Feral Spirits is probably good, but then you're still overloading yourself further and further. Oh, it's so nice to see this from...
And this is the dream scenario. In a ramp deck, when you can continue to control the board as well, it's just like slowly but surely continues to snowball in your favor.
He's not played any... Hex is fine here as well. He's not played any totems yet, so Thing from Below is still going to remain.
He's played 1.
Well, I mean, Thing from Below currently on its board value, really. 5 mana. Like, it's not great to play it for 5 mana because it can be cheaper, but, you know, 5 mana for a 5/5 taunt is never going to be the end of the world. But Dark Arakoa comes out, which is an incredibly good card.
Yeah, one of the cards that does make Cthulhu Druid so strong. Because, I mean, it's just a 5/7 body is very difficult to deal with. He's going to roll a totem and play Thing from Below.
But then this deals with it now, right? And it deals with it quite nicely. I mean, obviously you then go down to the Flame Juggler, but you have other stuff.
But now he's got Druid of the Claw into Taunt. He can still take down that Thing from Below, leave the 5/2 on board. I mean, I suppose, oh yeah, it's a Taunt as well, so he can run either. I suppose he could charge into it to take up the 2/2 and try and keep that 5/2 alive.
There's no point, right? You could even just Twilight Elder and Hero Power to deal with the 1/1. It's kind of a weak play. Druid of the Claw seems better.
Where shall I strike?
Oh, he's going to
charge
though. Okay, he's going to keep it. Then obviously he's walking straight into Lightning Storm.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate on that one, but I mean...
He is, but at this point he still wouldn't have known that it's a mid-range. It still looks, everything he's played looks like Face Shaman.
Thing from below is not face shot.
I mean, you've seen it in.
Yeah.
I have not seen.
in
Yeah,
some.
I suppose.
It depends on the variant of Face Shaman.
There can be
the thing is,
there's like
if you're running the Tuskar Totemic, then it's a fantastic card. And
Yeah.
I've seen that run in some Face
I mean,
Shamans.
there is like a more aggressive kind of mid-range shaman and then a more control-y kind
Yeah.
of version, I guess. But he would have thought of Lightning Storm, surely, but he probably just, in his head, he was trying to defend that 5-2 body. I think it's probably the play I would have made as well.
Yeah.
There it is. Completely clears the board and means that the kind of tempo, I suppose, is in favour of Mysterious now. He's got the control of the board, he's got the minions out. We'll see what the answer is going to be coming out from Osha here.
Ooh.
Cthulhu in hand. A little bit too early for my liking.
You've seen one Hex, right? And that's the only thing that I think is Earthshock as well, I suppose. Oh, that's quite good, Beckoner of Evil, but...
Earthshock
Save.
still feels bad, turning Cthulhu into a 6-6. But I
Or
suppose
6-5.
it's
better
6-5, yeah.
better than
Better than like a 14-14
yeah.
or something ridiculous, yeah.
Oh, that's a really good draw. And also, along with Cult Master, allows him to draw cards.
I think the main point that Cthulhu is going to play in this game is just clearing the board. If Mysterious does start to kind of get more and more board control here. And that's famously what this mid-range Shaman can do. If it gets board control, then it just keeps using more and more totems to keep it. Flame Tongue Totem and stuff like that.
I like the Cult Master Flame Tongue here.
Yeah. Play, and as well, play Cult Master on the left, so that when you kill your Flame Juggler, you still get the attack.
Oh, Joe, tell me more about positioning, please.
I'm all about that positioning, baby. That got pretty weird pretty quick.
I got fairly weird fairly quickly.
I didn't want to say anything. So we'll get some card draw here and being able to clear the board. And there's the Bloodlust. So this might be the deck. I can't remember the guy's name. I do apologise if he were watching, but there was a guy who brought a mid-range Shaman to Top Legend last season, which famously ran one Bloodlust.
Disciple of Cthulhu from the Nourish right there. Fantastic draw.
Well drawn, well drawn.
Well drawn.
One of my
Frank.
favourite cards of the expansion, actually, Disciple of Cthulhu.
You love Disciple
Yeah,
of
it's-
Cthulhu, yeah.
I think it's
Super, super.
it might even find its way being run even if you're not using Cthulhu. I dare I say it. I just think it's
I could
a
see
solid
it,
card,
yeah.
but I mean,
I think that's the thing about all of these Cthulhu cards is, or
They're-
at least most of them, they're really good cards on their own without the buff on top.
they're like arena cards. They are solid arena cards. If you
Yeah.
if they were in arena, which we know they're not, you would pick them because they're just solid bodies. They're good on curve.
I need to think about this now because
You're thinking of that Bloodlust.
I'm thinking of that Bloodlust next turn.
So you're wondering whether he should go face here or whether he should just clear it anyway.
He's got a Flame
I
Tongue and a Bloodlust.
I think the decision to clear that was correct.
Well, he's got lethal
Even-
next turn if nothing's cleared here. Well, or I suppose Ancient of War kind of.
Bloodlust gives 3 each, plus another Flame Tongue.
Does he
Take that
still
to
win?
9. Potentially, actually. This is what I'm thinking about.
I think he's only got like 18 damage, but I've just done it really quickly in my head.
You've got 9 on the middle wolf if you put the Flame Tongue between the 2 wolves and use Bloodlust.
Either
you
way,
have-
he
you
can deal with this Ancient of War pretty nicely.
Okay.
But
And you can you can just play more wolves, and you can even play your Mana Tide and draw for next turn, and you still get a whole heap of
Yeah, then there's
damage.
no-
and I wonder, so how big is Cthulhu right now?
I don't think it's big enough.
Maybe it's 16-16.
Is that big enough to deal effectively with the board?
Depends on
No,
what
it
it hits.
can't clear the whole board, no.
I feel like you just have to go for it, though.
Let's see how this one works out. So he's got both of the totems, and I think
That's
that's
pretty good!
absolutely crucial.
That's
That,
pretty good!
Yeah.
You said it wasn't enough to clear the board.
Well, it
but
didn't clear the board,
it
did
didn't
it?
clear the board, but I think it did a pretty decent job right there.
It
And
definitely-
now, actually, what answer is there for this Cthulhu?
Well, nothing this turn, and then with Savage Combatant next.
Yeah, that's lethal.
turn,
I think the
not
answer
quite.
right now
It's not
is
quite.
Totem
Well,
and
Ragnaros.
pray for taunt.
Ragnaros,
Guess the taunt.
and then you can take out the.
So he gets the taunt, which means that you don't rag here. You probably just Savage Combatant to clear it.
He's thinking about next turn if he can't get through the taunt. Will Bloodlust be enough if he draws an overload card?
And that is why Cthulhu is such a devastating card, and why Cthulhu Druid is such a devastating deck. It just can ramp out so well, and then if you can draw Cthulhu...
This is the key thing as well, is you gotta get that Cthulhu like at that
Disciple
kind of stage.
That is nearly lethal.
No, it's not quite.
Not quite. You're one off lethal if you Disciple of Cthulhu the 0/2.
Do you just rag and cross your fingers?
I think that would be...
No, but even with Rag...
I think the thing is, like, even if it doesn't kill him this turn, like, how does he deal with the Cthulhu and a
Oh,
Rag
wait,
on
no,
board?
that is lethal, because Cthulhu gets +2/2 on
Oh,
board.
yeah, of course.
Oh, of course it is, yeah.
Oh,
Unless he hits that.
unless you hit that, and now he's probably thinking, oh, wait. Yeah.
Didn't we see that last week?
Mistake.
We saw that last week from Mysterious,
Oh,
actually.
dear.
I think a lot of people forget, I mean, even I forgot it then, that Cthulhu gets buffed whilst he's on board.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets.
It is a natural mistake.
It
I
is a
think
natural
it was-
mistake. Everyone's like, oh, it must be in deck that it gets buffed, right? Oh, no, wait,
It
he
is.
still gets buffed on board.
I think one thing as well that is easily forgotten is Disciple of Cthulhu. You almost always use that as board clear. So it's very easy to think of it like Slam, that you can't use it on face. It's very easy to like kind of fall into those habits, and those habits become your knowledge of the card as well. It's a very easy situation to fall into.
Did you know, this is just a little tidbit along that lines, the new rogue card, Shadow Strike, you can actually use it
Yeah.
on undamaged faces.
You can indeed. So Malagos,
Really? Yeah.
Malagos Rogue.
Malagos Rogue
can-
with it is pretty
It's
solid,
another card that goes face.
because you've got 30 health plus 5 spell damage, that's 10 damage for 2 mana if you manage to Emperor Therissian.
Pretty crazy.
And then if you have 2 Sinister Strikes in hand, that's
A
16.
bunch more damage.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway,
pretty
that
good.
Plus eviscerate you in the game.
That
By
game.
being.
So we spoke earlier about Cthulhu Druid and how that was basically an example of what it can do. And the Shaman just... I think it was Cthulhu, really. They won their game, let's be honest. The Shaman had built up a board, it was ready, it had its Bloodlust, it was sat there, it was like, I'll come at you, bro. And then Cthulhu was like, nah,
Come on then.
come on then.
Bring it on.
And he... But I mean, it was
I
the
think
perfect Cthulhu.
This is the thing as well. It wasn't just the fact that he dropped this big minion. It was how
How it
well it
cleared.
cleared the board.
Because you very rarely, actually, I mean, when you drop that Cthulhu, you think, okay, how often is it going to hit face? It hits minions a lot. I know it's random, but it does always seem to hit those minions.
That's like a...
It's completely dependent. Like my
Yeah.
experience of
That's like
it
an
is-
anecdotal point right there.
Yeah, when I play Cthulhu, it only hits face so long as I'm going to lose next turn.
Yes.
100%. Like I'll drop a 30-30 Cthulhu and he'll be on 1 armor and it'll take him down to 1 HP with a full board. I'll be like, that was fun. Glad I played that game. But anyway, Osha, a little bit of salt coming through there. Warlock and Shaman remaining in this one. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a Shaman mirror match here for our second game in this series.
And
I
both
guess-
with the mid-rangey type of Shaman rather than the face Shaman. Which is interesting.
I think it's just more reliable, I suppose. Like when you play a face deck, it's kind of, if your mulligan is bad, you suffer for the entire game. Like with mid-range, it's much more forgiving if you have bad starting cards.
Speaking of mulligans, Tunnel Drog into Totem Golem. It's
Yeah.
pretty much the dream.
It's the dream.
With a flame tongue for the turn after,
I guess you
not too shabby.
could coin Flame Juggler at this point in time, and then
Well, you
next-
coin out your Totem Golem, perhaps. I mean, it
You-
depends how badly you want to deal with this board.
you're stuck with 1 mana that turn.
Yeah, you are. But it also does deal with the Tunnel Drog.
This can potentially deal with the Tunnel Drog if it hits the Tunnel Drog.
But it never hits. It always hits face. See?
Face Juggler. Yeah, play Totem Golem now, and then next turn play Flame Tongue Totem.
Well, I guess Flame Tongue Totem means you can deal with this
right
Flame
now.
Juggler right now.
Right here, right now. But as we know and can see, there is another Flame Juggler in hand. But will it hit the Trog? That's the question. My suspicion is it will hit the Totem.
My suspicion is it will hit face because it's Face Juggler.
I think he'll probably play the Totem Golem because he doesn't trust the Flame Juggler. It betrayed him last turn.
You're absolutely right.
This is a safer play here. Does he just Does he just get Feral Spirited here, though?
I think you Feral Spirit here. It's whether you Feral Spirit and then clear the 3-4, or whether you just Feral Spirit and then start going face.
I would just go face, I think.
Just go face. I mean...
The thing is, you've got to ask the question, like, what threat does it pose?
I guess Lightning Storm would be really bad for you if that happened.
True. Now the Juggler will come down.
Well, hit the face of that wolf. It's not quite the same thing. But another totem comes down, an easy clear to the Flame Juggler, and a very, very strong board now has been built up for Osha. And honestly, right now, this is looking like Osha's looking to snowball this game into his second victory.
Osha's game to lose at this point, I would say.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot in the hand of Mysterious to really come back into this match.
Double Flame Tongue. I mean, you're weak to a Lightning Storm with spell power, but why not just go for it at this point, right? You just place your Flame Tongue between your Totem Golem and your other Flame Tongue, and then you clear the two, sacrificing your own wolves, clear the two feral wolves or feral spirits on his side, and then just go face.
The important thing is
you have to place the Flame Tongue between your two wolves to be able to clear both wolves with yours.
No, because you just kill one off at a time, right? Before you place the Flame Tongue. You kill one off, then the next one shifts over.
Right, yeah, of course.
And the more totems he's playing, if he does get a thing from the below,
I mean,
it'll be a very cheap one.
It'll be free at this point, I think.
Whereas, obviously, on the other end, on Mysterious' side, we can still see that thing from below is only 5. He's only played 1 totem so far.
I guess he's going for the Tunnel Troll because he wants the Flame Tongue to be reactive. Because it's really good as a reactive card in that sense. And actually, he's not overloaded this turn, which means he's got Fire Elemental next turn.
Feral Spirit available again, though, for Mysterious. So he does at least have something to hold on with. But again, that will force out the Overload once more.
He's going to want a Feral Spirit and then
weak.
hope he gets a Lightning Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because right now Fire Elemental is going to come down. You absolutely can see it, right? And
Fire Elemental is such a good card.
And Osha's curved out really well this game.
I like that Mysterious, you just see him, he goes, okay, that happened. You know, like he doesn't get super salty on screen. He just goes, right, okay, I expected that.
Yeah, and I think that's a matter of kind of playing enough to know what you're going to be going up against each game, knowing what it's likely your opponents are going to have, because if you've already considered the possibility, it's not so much of a... It's not like you're surprised, and therefore it feels like a less of a big deal, I think.
A Lightning Storm could change this game completely. It can really flip on its head.
There's the thing from below. It's not quite free. I was overestimating, but it could
but he
be
can play,
1 mana.
and then he can play a Tuskar as well.
Yeah. I guess
the Tuskar would fill up the board. So yeah, you tap first, and then you get to play for 1.
Well, that's a good card. Sorry, good totem, but obviously he's got a lot of the other totems on board already. Make use of that Hex.
Mysterious is going to need something pretty quick if he's going to find his way back into this game.
Does Lightning Storm even change it? I don't know if it does.
It would... No.
It would help, but
it would
not enough right now. And that is going to be a second game on the trot for Osha, who, I mean, we're seeing a completely different Osha to the rest of the Premiership so far. Against a player that was currently tied for second at the start of this week, is 2-0 up in 2 very convincing wins.
Making a statement. This is what I wanted to see. I mean, also, he is playing against a guy that is competing for second seed against his teammate, so he's going to want to do his teammate a favour.
So if Mysterious loses this series, does this put his position in jeopardy, or is he
he's
guaranteed?
already, because of Raven losing, he's already guaranteed a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, okay. So Mysterious will then be 3rd seed, not potentially contested 4th seed, or he'll just be straight up 3rd seed?
If Cypher to win,
Cypher
wins, then potentially, yeah, he could.
What's
drop
the head?
to 4th
What's
seed.
the head between Mysterious and Cypher?
Mysterious and Cypher. Mysterious beat Cypher.
So
Mysterious has very, very good head-to-heads.
Okay, so he's guaranteed 3rd seed already.
Guaranteed 3rd seed already. If he loses this, he's guaranteed 2nd seed if he wins it. So this is literally a position for 2nd and 3rd seed. And Osha trying to do his teammate a bit of justice and get him into that 2nd seed position.
Absolutely. But as we said earlier, it doesn't really matter too much about 2nd and 3rd seed.
Yeah,
it's not going to be the end of the world because you're still in the same matchup
you
in
can
the
say
finals.
you can say I'm 2nd seed.
Yeah.
You know,
it's all for the bragging rights. It's all for the bragging rights. But also, in Osha's eyes, also for 50 quid here. But
so Mysterious is going to queue up his Shaman again, and Osha has actually got the Zoolock.
Indeed, he has. The deck that survives all metas, the Zoo Warlock.
And Mysterious is really going to want to draw the Lightning Storm to win this matchup. Argent Squire is a good one-drop to have, though, against Zoo. Especially against the Imp. But he's just going to opt to go for a Rock Biter, take 3 damage to face.
That's fine.
Where's your one-drop now? Dark Peddler to follow. He can even, he can even coin out the Squire as well, just to get a bit of presence on board.
I quite like keeping it for after Totem Golem to play Tuskar Totemic.
Yeah.
He heard you.
One thing he could have done is on that first turn play Argent Squire, then next turn you could play your Totem Golem, coin, and use your Rock Biter on your Squire. You've still got your Squire on board, you clear out the Flame Imp.
So what would you take here?
I'd take Power Overwhelming.
I think against Shaman you just want as much damage as possible. I think Power Overwhelming seems like the safest choice.
Greetings, friend.
Mysterious is throwing out an emote there, just to kind of encourage a quicker response.
It's a difficult decision, but I would take Power Overwhelming because you need to deal with Flame Wreath somehow, you need to deal with Totem Golem somehow, Thing from Below is a real issue if you don't have any way to get through it.
So many
If there's a Power Overwhelming in it, unless I'm like super far behind on board, or there's currently a multiple coil target, I'll almost always take Power Overwhelming.
I wonder if Osha will just squelch Mysterious.
I
now.
wonder if Osha is disconnected. He's taken an unnecessarily amount of... Okay, no, go to the Power Overwhelming. Really, he was really thinking about it. Maybe he went to get a cup of tea.
I greet you.
And it's surprising how much emotes can kind of get into your head, especially when you're trying to make a decision, an important decision, late in the game. It's surprising that these players actually leave emotes on for tournament play, but...
What about Power Overwhelming here into Forbidden Ritual?
So you clear the board and get 2 1/1s.
Or you just go for the 3/1/1s?
I think it's kind of a waste of a Power Overwhelming, really.
Yeah, I think with Argus or Dark Iron Dwarf as a choice for next turn, I think just getting some minions on board. Flame Juggler, though.
Coin Tuskar, I think is a good play. Or Coin Feral Spirit.
Flame Juggler are going to come out. I think maybe saving the coin for next turn so you can play your thing from
Face Juggler strikes again.
Oh, that feels absolutely horrendous.
Not fun. Toying with the Squire. It's going to use the coin Squire.
The light protects me.
So you think Dark Iron Dwarf just better here than... Yeah, I'd say so.
Dark Iron Dwarf's a great card. I love that.
And the fact that that Juggler did not hit one of these 1/1s means he can clear a lot of this board. Deal with the 2/3 and 3/2.
He's been so unlucky right now with the
Don't say that devastating word, Keenan.
Face Juggler.
No RNG, don't say it.
No, just the Face Juggler.
That's
He's been really
technically not a word. That's an initialism, Dan.
Oh, nice.
an acronym, you mean?
He's going to drop the 7/7, the nice new card, the Flame Wreath Faceless.
What does it stand for? RNG?
Random number generator, I think.
Yes.
No, it's an initialism. An acronym is where you say it as a word. Like SWAT team is an acronym, but SATs is an initialism. So actually, no,
wrecked.
Kiernan, it's not an acronym.
Get wrecked, you scoundrel.
So that Power Overwhelming that you got from Dark Peddler earlier will deal with the Flame Wreath Faceless, that devastating new 7/7 from the new expansion. Speaking of expansion, here's the Darkshire Councilman.
It's your favourite card?
One of my favourite cards from the expansion.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking of expansion, if you want to maybe get an expansion on your house, you would have to talk to one of the councilmen. So, appropriate card.
Nice link there, Munchie.
Gets the taunt. It's always an alright totem. You're obviously looking for the totem golem.
Oh, this is nice. Lots of 1-drops potentially here for Osha.
Buying or selling.
Possessed
Ooh,
Villager.
I think Possessed.
I like Possessed Villager.
Especially with the councilman already on board, I think Possessed Villager is a good choice here. Obviously, it's Death Rattle also buffing the councilman. Something that I think people missed when the card was first announced.
Yeah, it's...
Me. I missed that.
A lot of people... I wasn't actually digging at you there.
Is he thinking about Defender of Argus?
I think, especially, I think he is. I mean, just buffing this councilman's health up is pretty important.
There we go then, Defender of Argus. Comes out, makes it a 4/6.
Suddenly, 4/6 is a whole lot scarier than the 1-5 it was at the start of this turn.
You could Flame Juggler here and
Let
then
it
play.
hit face, then cry.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he can deal with a 3/3 in the form of the Tuskar Totemic. That just gets dealt with.
So there even is considering Doom Hammering.
You take 8 damage to face there if you try and Doom Hammer through that 4/6. Unless
Well,
you,
you
I
can
know,
just
unless,
hit it with
yeah.
one charge, yeah.
You're going to take
So
12 damage to face.
if you're
next
going
turn
to play
you don't deal with
Face
it.
Juggler here, do you hit the taunt with your 3/2 first to make sure that that's not an extra target?
Yeah, if that's the play you're going to make, and then go for Thing from Below, I imagine. I think Thing from Below is a good play because it's the most sensible one to prevent damage coming through. I don't know what you'd be hoping for, Flame Juggler. Yeah, he's going to make that. He's the better play. The munchable play is the better play here.
There you go.
No tears, only dreams.
Never lucky, man. Never lucky.
Ooh, Voidwalker's not bad here.
This is going to become a very terrifying villager, and the power of Overwhelming in hand to deal with the Thing from Below. There is going to be a lot of face damage this turn if he just plays these 1-drops. He could even play the Imp Gang Boss as well in case there's a Lightning Storm next turn. I mean, he's kind of got all the answers right now. And you even play the Possessed Villager. If the Lightning Storm comes out, it just buffs the Councilman even more.
And this was my concern. This is what made me consider even taking that damage with the Doom Hammer, is that this Councilman
He's only going to
is
get
going
worse.
to
Just
get
gets out
a
of
lot
control.
worse. I mean, he may have to even use Bloodlust
Bloodlust,
to deal with this
yeah.
here, which feels pretty dirty.
But yeah, you lose your entire board, but you get through that 6/6, which is only going to, you know, grow exponentially next turn. You can Feral Spirit to buy time, but you don't know if there's an abusive, you don't know anything. I think Bloodlust is just the better call.
I think what's been important in these past 2 games, actually, is both times we've seen the Flame Wreath Faceless drop, it's been dealt with very quickly and very efficiently by Osha. Obviously with the swipe with the Druid, and he had the power of Overwhelming with his Warlock. And you said earlier, you said you don't know how stable a mid-range Shaman can be in tournament play, and it turns out that the mid-range Mirror could prove to be vital for Osha.
I mean, this could be a 3-0 sweep. It's certainly looking that way, given the fact that we can see absolutely no card draw. The out here for Mysterious is if he manages to get a Doomhammer Rockbiter with some form of board presence, which can then go face, or, you know, Osha oversteps his tap boundaries.
But he has already used 1 Rockbiter, and I don't know if mid-range Shaman runs 2,
Yeah.
so that's my only worry.
I guess you run the 2/4 into the Healing Totem here, or you just go face. I would only be worried that that Healing Totem can be really annoying if you manage to get, you know, a fairly extensive board, but I suppose at this point you're not too bothered. I feel like you have to Doomhammer and then Feral Spirit to stay alive, right? But even then, I don't know if that saves him. Well, it will. It will save him on board, but...
Looks like he might be up for the Flame Wreath Faceless instead.
I think, if you go... The problem is you can't kill the Wolf now. That's the big issue. If you played the Doomhammer, you could kill the Voidwalker, use your Doomhammer to finish off the Voidwalker and kill the Wolf. I meant kill the Argent Squire, but I feel like
Sea
that would
Giant. 0 mana Sea Giant.
He says, okay, look, you've got that 7/7, that only 4 mana. How about an 8/8 for 0?
well,
That will pretty much secure this game.
Unless he top decks a Hex.
top decks the Hex.
How much do you deal with of this board now? Do you deal with the 0/2 at this point because of the Flame Wreath?
Nah,
Nah.
just hit him in the face, mate.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I'm far too conservative, I think.
I've played a lot of Zoo, and when you've got a board like this, you hit them in the face until they can deal with your board.
I think that's a good option. I think controlling it is okay. I think it's okay.
I think when you're 10 away from just winning the game, like, he's only got 1 card in hand. What really are going to be his options? Even if he Lightning Storms, you've still got board. You've still got those imps.
Do you just hope for a taunt totem here? Well,
Even that won't save you.
Even that won't save you.
You
Of course
are
you won't. You are dead.
Diddly dead, and that will be a 3-0 for Osha. And what a way to finish this Premiership, actually. After a tough season for him, I'm going to call it a season. A spring season.
He knows it's over. Osha knows it's over.
He's going to finish with a bang.
Wow, I mean, from a 1 hour 20 control series to a 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, I mean, Osha just well and truly took control of that